Hey guys, we're live and it's Thursday. Hey guys, get excited. I have a new microphone that I'm about to test and I have no idea if this is going to work because I didn't read the directions. I fully was rushing because my son decided to catapult himself off the side of the couch. So winging it again. So once again, I definitely appreciate your patience. Hope your week is going well. My week has been definitely interesting. Yesterday, I flew into Las Vegas, was up at 3:15 in the morning. My flight was at 6:30, and then I got home around 10 by the time I drove home. So a little tired. But I did definitely want to share the excitement with you all and all the trends that I saw yesterday at the Kitchen and Bath Show. That's the reason why I was there, to get all of the trends for 2024. And I'm here to share them with you. Mic sounds good. That's awesome. The mic isn't on yet. So let me turn it on and let me know while I have you. Tell me if this is better. Ready? This is it. Does this sound any better? The light is on. Does that sound better? I know I wasn't clear. I figured you can't tell. Okay. If it's not much different, then does it sound good now though? Because I feel like sometimes I'll start talking at the beginning and it sounds great and then I get quieter, or I turn the old mic was like really sounding bad. Okay. Thank you. All right. Thanks for the feedback, you guys. You're always super helpful. So maybe I'll just keep it as is. And when I listen back, I'll see if I can notice a difference in the replay. Because sometimes I feel like it's a little bit more obvious when we're playing it back on YouTube. But in any case, so I was at the Kitchen and Bath Show yesterday. They have this every single year. It is the largest show for this particular subject in the country. And the last time I was there was 2020, just before shutdown. So if you guys have been following me for a while, you might remember back then I did post a video of all the trends for that particular year. It was interesting to go back years later and see that a lot of them are still holding true. So I've seen a bit of a migration and new things incorporated, of course, but still a lot of the same themes. So if you haven't seen it already, I'm going to actually link that here, or you can run a quick search on my channel here, and it's design trends. You should be able to pull it up right away. And I actually had other designers weigh in as well with their favorite trends of the year. So it was actually a really good mix up. So in any case, let me pull you guys in here. So what have you guys been up to this week? Anything exciting? Tell me something good. Okay. We're about to present. Now, oh, you know what? Let me do the screen share also. Same old stuff, yeah. I mean, you know what? Sometimes the same stuff is better than some kind of an incident. So that's good. I was literally sleepwalking yesterday when I got to Vegas and I got to the show, and I tried to break into one of the buildings like without my badge, because I was like, oh, I don't have time to register and all of this. Like I was trying to get to a breakfast to meet people, and she would not let me through. So I had to go to another building, sign in, get my badge. And I totally missed the breakfast. It was a little sad at the beginning, but then I ended up, the people that I wanted to meet up with, actually I found later on. So it worked out. And I was more alert by then, so I could actually hold a conversation. So things always happen for a reason. Okay, you guys tell me if you can see my screen. I think you can, because this looks good on my end. Okay, cool. So any guesses on what some of these trends might be? Like, have any of you renovated your kitchen or purchased a new build recently? What are you guys seeing out there? Unintentional intermittent fasting. Yeah, I mean, it happens as a mom. I feel like I started off with doing that when my son was a toddler, and he would just inevitably eat my food every single day. And like, it was like a primal thing where I was like, it just made me really uncomfortable. So I was like, never mind, I'm just gonna make him a big breakfast and I'll eat later on. So that kind of like became a habit. I feel like my body's pretty used to that by now. How did it go for you? I feel like the chat needs to be faster. Oh, I've seen accent walls are less popular. Yes, this is true. This is true. Yeah. Okay. So let us into this, you guys. So this is, I'm going to start off with the big trends that I saw. As a rule, I always pick out patterns. Like if you hire me as a designer and you send me inspiration, I select patterns based on like all the images that you send me. And then that's kind of how I design for folks. And honestly, more times than not, people are like, you nailed it. So whatever, it works. So hopefully this is a good summarization of what was there yesterday. And it's actually a 3-day event, by the way. So it's not normal to just go in for one day. It was a lot to cover. So I did my best. So here we are. I'm seeing me. Okay, it's going back. There we go. Okay, we're good. Very basic bathrooms. Okay, so you think that's trending more? We shall see. Okay, so kitchen and bath design trends 2024. Style and technology to look out for as you refresh your home in the year ahead. So this was in collaboration with the kitchen and bath industry, and this is as legit as it gets, you guys. Okay, so number one trend that I picked up on immediately, this was the number one. This is when I started to wake up in the morning, was metallic. So you saw it literally everywhere. You saw it on ranges, you saw it on pedestal sinks, regular basin sinks, all these artistic sculptural pieces I was seeing a lot of, by the way, but all that you can see all the different metal tones here and really the creative aspect to it, which I loved. Even with the vanity, you're seeing metallic legs, which I thought was a really interesting detail there that I loved. And then even with the grout patterns, you're seeing like the grout has an almost metallic look to it, which was really beautiful. This photo doesn't do it justice. It was really breathtaking in person. And then to add to that, so I actually sat in on an experience with Kohler, and I had no idea about this, you guys. By the way, I grew up in Kohler t-shirts, Kohler, Moen, Delta, because my dad sold plumbing and heating in the commercial space. And so I slept, full disclosure, not a detail that you need to know about, but that was my life. And I had no idea that for decades and decades, Kohler has been the sponsor of artists. Like they have a huge program for artists where you can get a residency for 3 months. You can select only 2 artists at a time, and they bring them into the manufacturing space, and they're able to just use any materials that they see and they have access to, and they just create. Like that's their job for 3 months. They just create whatever. Kohler ends up owning one of their pieces. I forget, there's another piece that has to go somewhere else, and then they're able to keep the rest of their artwork to, you know, have at art galleries and to sell on their own and things like that. So I thought it was really, really interesting. So on that experience, the panel was actually sitting beside this whole display. There's a couple displays of these beautiful accent tables, which I know has nothing to do with kitchen and bath, but this was such a moment for me. And this particular artist, Ang Lee, is an assistant or associate professor at Northeastern in Boston. So it's my home state. And I literally immediately, I didn't even know the story of these, but when I saw them, I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to purchase these for a client, what have you. This is her own personal art, so I can only imagine what these would cost, but they were absolutely gorgeous. And every single one of them is handmade, so they're all unique. Just beautiful. So the takeaway of this slide is metallics, and it's not your basic options for metallics. You're seeing a lot more different tones, which makes it very, very fun and exciting. Can you guys still hear me okay? Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm excited that you're here too. Thanks for joining us. Yes, all different metal tones. Okay, so So color was big in 2020. Honestly, we talked about it in that video. You can reference it there, but color is still popping, you guys. I mean, look at all these different cabinet choices. If you're bold and adventurous, I say it's your house and your space and you have to live in it, or you get to live in it, and you should make it your own, really. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense to think about selecting options for the next people who purchase your home, because why wait, really? I think it's important to have your surroundings make you happy and energize you. And so if color is the way you can do that, which I know, like with color psychology, that's definitely a huge thing, and it's very real. I think I wrote a blog post about that, so you can check on my website. I will try to link that as well. There's so many reference points here because I've been around for a few years now, but yeah, color psychology is definitely a thing. So depending on how you want to feel in the space, you want to research what each color, like how it makes you feel. And then of course, just by nature, if you're surrounded by a certain color, you're just going to know, hey, this makes me feel a lot better. This makes me feel uplifted. This makes me feel tired, what have you. So seeing all different color choices, ranges, basins, even hardware. There was actually like almost like a facade on the hardware. It's hard to explain, but it was in some of these tones where it was just like an accent, which is really fun. So if you can imagine like a cabinet handle, just having a little bit of pop of color there, and all these cabinet choices. I mean, just the design, first of all, is just so much fun. And we'll get into some of this in a bit, but just how beautiful is this? It's just something that you would never really see necessarily out and about, but these are some different options that are starting to become available. And when you work with a designer, it's definitely something to bring up in conversation if this is your vibe. So colors. Yeah, the sinks are gorgeous, right? This, because this was such an experience. The whole booth was just phenomenal. Is the style for faucets just metallic, no black? That's a great question. So here's what I have found. It depends on where you live, honestly. And I think matte black is still definitely huge, especially here in California. And I was talking to a rep, I think it was Thompson Trader. So he was saying that they're having trouble breaking into this region of the country because they're just, I can bounce back more up, I would say, formal style. So here in Southern California, it's a lot more casual, I would say, in many of the homes. So this style may not necessarily go with the homes that we have out here, just the lifestyle and the vibe that we have. But, for an accent or statement piece, absolutely gorgeous. So anyway, to answer your question, I would say clients are still looking for matte black and definitely the gold tones in this region. I think also too, it comes down to you're in California too. Okay, cool. It comes down to your design style as well. So, for example, I can speak to my sister who really likes modern style and industrial. So I think black is definitely a great go-to. So one thing that I should have mentioned at the beginning of this presentation is I'm sharing the trends with you, but you don't have to feel like, oh no, now I'm out of style, or this is the trend, so I have to change everything. It's not necessarily the case. So, it's just like fashion, where it's good to know what's out right now and what's fun and hot, and maybe take a piece of this to work with, as opposed to just going crazy and all out. I think that can go a long way in a home, especially for something that you're going to be experiencing, if you will, all day, every day. Sometimes a little can go a long way. So you guys ready for the next trend? Oh, there's a black, yes. I think I read that already. Okay. Next trend, you guys. Fluting. I just love this. And there's so many different ways to do this. And I saw fluting everywhere, honestly. I saw it on the walls. I've seen it on light fixtures, definitely the vanities you're seeing here, tubs, and you can see the different style variation here. And it's just gorgeous, and I feel like it just gives that extra something. One of the big features of KBIS this year was texture as well, which you saw in hardware. There are just so many more options. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And fluting to me, like one thing that was really cool is one of the displays actually had a model who was wearing a pleated skirt. So it was like a more of an accordion pleat. So she just blended so well with the display. I'm sure that was intentional. And that's what you'll find is the interior design industry is inspired by fashion, and then also, interestingly enough, the automotive industry. So you'll find that the trends start, I believe, in automotive, and then it pulls through the rest of the industries, which is really interesting. And even yesterday, I found that they're using special paints, like automotive paints, to create pieces now, which makes them extremely durable. Very cool. So that was fluting. Next thing that I saw a lot of is this style cabinet face, the Slim Shaker, which I actually really love. It's not, we've seen Shaker a billion times over. I mean, especially the white Shaker cabinets that I have in my kitchen, you can see, which I'm not renting here. But yeah, take a look at this and how beautiful. It's just so modern and clean looking. It just gives you that little bit of uniqueness to it, which again, I'm sure we'll see a lot of this in the coming years, but I just think it's so tailored to me. Like, it just looks buttoned up. And so yeah, we're seeing a lot of this. Let me add to this slide as well. So I did mention the white cabinetry. We are moving away from that. However, it is insanely popular. So I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon, but there is a slow migration over to the wood tones. So definitely your oak. There was a couple other wood tones that I forgot because I'm exhausted. I'm sorry, I didn't write them down, but all you need to know is we're moving towards the wood look, and then also green is making its way. So blue has been very popular, as I'm sure you know. Blue and green are typically popular kitchen colors. Black has been very, very popular as well, but we're going to be seeing more and more green, just so that you know. I think that's, another thing that I wanted to mention is open shelving. So there weren't a lot of images that I found where there's I'm able to illustrate this point, but open shelving is still a thing, but specifically modular open shelving. So shelving that you can actually move around. So as your lifestyle changes and the way you live and cook changes, then you're able to modify your kitchen without much to do. So it's very easy to move around, which is nice. Yeah, mostly light cabinetry. I would say oak is probably the most popular, so you're going to be looking at the lighter, especially out here in California, that's for sure. Okay, and then this slide will show you, as compared to, I don't know how good this looks, it's a little dark, but the regular shaker versus the slim shaker, so a little difference there. Okay, next one, decorative hoods. Decorative range hoods. So saw a lot of this. So just a little bit different finishes, like a suede look finish. Again, pulling in the metallics, making a statement, and different shapes. For example, it's really getting creative. I found a lot of these companies are getting outside the box a little bit. Even with this, the curvature here, this looks like a skirt also, which I thought was beautiful. And I can't remember the name of the artist, but she inspired this piece specifically, and it's gorgeous. So, this definitely was a big thing this year. And then I did think, I talked to a couple of reps about, basically engineering underneath the hood and the ease of cleaning there, because I think that is definitely something you want to think about. So sometimes when you have these vents here, it's a bit of a burden to clean. So some of these companies were showing an option where you could take the pieces out and basically just wash them in the sink and then put it back and you're done. Like, how easy would that be? So nice feature there. Not attached to the wall. How does that work? Can you explain that a little bit further? The piece underneath that's in the vent, you can just remove. So easy to clean. Okay, another big theme was AI. So there's different ways that we're seeing this in design. So some of them was in industry facing. So in talking with how AI can be utilized in our businesses, where we're communicating via email and text and communicating with our teams, things like that. So that was really helpful. Also utilizing AI for design in itself. I don't know if you are connected with any designers who are using things like programs called Midjourney or things like that, where you can actually prompt the system to create a design for you. And it's a little, from what I've heard, it can be a little glitchy, but it all comes down to how specific you can be in explaining what you are trying to create. So there's a bit of a controversy there where people are saying, well, you know, if you hire a designer and then AI creates a design, is that really even their design anymore? And what's the point of working with them? Well, the truth is, it does come from our own vision and our communication. And so it is eventually conveyed in the overall design. So it's something to think about. We're going to see more and more of that with design. And one thing that I found was interesting was they're starting, well, this is the first one actually. So somebody that I know actually created this particular sink design with AI. And then this company, Thompson Traders, actually created a prototype. So it's the only one of its kind. So it was really cool to see it in 3D form. And people were pre-ordering it already, which is very exciting. And so, yeah, this is going to be more and more in design, where what you can do as a client is you can even create your own designs as we all migrate over to AI much more, and present a design that you have or an idea that you have to your designer, and your designer should be able to create that using AI. And then you have your own custom, unique piece, which is really, yeah. Another thing that I loved was this demonstration where there were several different pucks and you could select which one that you wanted to use. Like you just kind of pretended, hey, I'm doing laundry, I'm going to use hot water and it's really dirty and whatever else. Like you would just select your three. And then this whole thing would compute basically how efficient you're being, and you know how much energy you're using and how well your clothes are being washed and how much water you're using. And so it kind of would teach you basically the best combinations to have, you know, have a more efficient wash when you're washing your clothes. So I really loved that. Another thing that I loved was this little robot guy, which I'm not going to be able to list all of its capabilities, so forgive me. There is a video you can look up on YouTube. I saw it this morning. This is by LG. This is a prototype as well. This is not yet going to be sold until next year, I believe, so 2025. But it's a vacuum, and it looks adorable, and it's basically like a home manager. So I was joking with one of the reps and saying, the one thing that my son asked for Christmas this year was a robot that would do his chores, and everyone laughed because they're like, tell Miles I want that too, basically, like my cousin and my friends. And of course, wouldn't that be great? But it's really cool that this robot now can actually be your assistant. And it seemed like it could, you know, preheat the oven and control your thermostat and do all kinds of effective, helpful things. It's like having your own person. It was very, very cute. Like 4 of them driving around. They're very adorable. They come in different colors as well. So keep an eye out for that. And once again, that is by LG. This oven was really cool as well. It's tough to convey this just with photographs and not video. And so this was by GE. And what you can do is you put food in the oven and it senses it, and it can actually tell or kind of guess what you're cooking. So for example, for the demonstration, they had a pizza and he put it in the oven, it sensed it, and then it said, it looks like you're cooking pizza. Would you like to cook it at this temperature? And it would basically design out how, you know, what the right temperature would be, what the length of cooking would be. And it's super simple. And he did the same thing with a tray of quote unquote cookies. I don't really know what they're using for dough, but you get the idea. And so same thing, like it would put it for 350 on, you know, 12 minutes or whatever. So that was really cool as well. And then at the same booth, they actually had this app that anyone can download. You don't even have to, I don't think you have to eat products or appliances. I burned way too many pizzas. They don't need to cook that long. But yeah, very cool by GE if you're looking for a new oven. I loved the science. So back to the app. So this is also something that GE was presenting where you don't have to have GE appliances necessarily, but you can still download this. I want to remember, I think it's called Smart HQ. So look for it in your app store. And part of the demo, it does a lot of different things, but what I tested out was I was selecting like what type of food did I want to cook tonight? Was it Asian inspired? Was it Italian? Was it Mediterranean? Things like that. Like there's all different choices, and then you can say like what kind of ingredients you have and like all the things, and then it'll create an actual recipe for you, list out all the ingredients that you need, and it's just super cool. And it pumped out really fast, like almost instant. So yeah, I really loved that as well. You guys still here? I get worried if you stop talking. Okay, so loved that. Okay, more cool things that I saw. Black toilets is emerging. I mean, I'm sure that this is a thing anyway, but it is just something unique. So I thought that was really interesting. I saw that a few times there, so something to keep an eye out for. And I love cafe appliances anyway, so I just thought this cart was really cute. Smeg had a really great display, and this was part of it. I'm not sure what was inside of here. People were kind of tinkering, and so that was really cool to see. Just, you know, companies being more creative. And then this, I was going to send to my sister as a joke because she has her hands full at home, we'll say, and she loves to work out, but I feel like she's always doing chores. And so I was like, here's a great way to do your laundry and lift weights at the same time, which obviously is not the case, but this is just really unique. So I always appreciate, like I said, the creativity. This was cafe, and I did actually post I posted a short earlier, and you can see like walking through and all of that. Give me 1 second. Okay. So yeah, definitely check out that short, and then just like unique displays with color. And this is Smeg as well. I don't know if you can see that I'm zooming in, but just look at how beautiful this is, and unique, utilizing color and patterning is beautiful. Okay. Yeah, the gym laundry part, right? Okay. To wrap things up, I saw European inspired kitchen displays. So this is definitely a big thing anyway. And so, you know, you find basically hiding appliances was definitely popular if you're going that route. Saw a lot of mirrors with lighting behind it. Also, to add to that, cabinetry and drawers with custom lighting installed. So it's really great for just a regular experience, creating mood lighting, and you know, just making your space feel different. You can change the feel of your space so much by just changing up the lighting. It's really a hugely impactful piece to, like I said, switch up. And another thing to think about is aging in place, where, you know, you need, as you get older, it is really important for safety to be able to, you know, have that extra lighting in certain areas, you know, in your under cabinetry in the kitchen, things like that. Also on that note, with aging in place, I did see things like grab bars, for example, for showers that are much more stylish and customized, which was nice to see. I do know also for aging in place, you know, people are looking at rounded islands, so a little bit safer there. Also on that note, with islands, apparently they're getting bigger. So I think like a 7-foot island is the thing now, but your island should only be like up to 10% of your kitchen. So but it's really becoming a big thing. Yeah, it's right. So people don't have to feel old when they need that stuff. Exactly. We're all going to need that. And it's just better to, when it looks good, like you feel better using it. And yeah, houses that are mostly kitchens. Basically, yeah, the open concept kitchen, entertaining, and you're going to take advantage of that. So another thing that I loved was this particular display of sink basins. I loved, all the unique shapes where it's just not cookie cutter oval and circles and rectangles. It just had variation to it, which I absolutely loved. I think the more options that we have, the better, because we can make our space our own. And I think that's what it is all about, because really this is art, truly. And art affects our life, like every aspect of it. So I don't know. I liked that they were having fun with it. The last piece here, so I'll tell you, earth-friendly solutions have been a big thing, very top of mind, of course, for several years. So this is not new. This particular display was about reverse osmosis. So basically, through that process, minerals are taken out as well. So with this process, step by step, they were putting the minerals back in, so it makes it better. And a big thing in terms of earth-friendly solutions this year was definitely just the water conservation, because that really is, it should be top of mind. That's very super important. I want that large circle mirror with light in my foyer. That's so pretty. Yeah, I think that would be beautiful at night too, when your guests are leaving, for example. It's just like it's not exactly like candlelight, but you know what I mean? Like it's moody and it's just soft on the eyes, and yeah, really nice. So yeah. So I'm trying to think if there was anything else I was missing. I think those are the biggest things. I did see also there was a quartz supplier, which is not an actual stone. It's a man-made product. So there's quartzite, which is real stone, and then there's quartz, which is man-made and manufactured, and it's super durable. Like it's stain resistant. You're not going to cut it up with a knife, things like that. It's like really strong. And so it was nice to see more options and more styles that are coming out. So it's not the same few that we've seen forever and ever. So that was really exciting. And yeah, just more texture in hardware, I found. Like I think for past years it's been a lot of your hardware and your cabinet door handles are very smooth. So there were just all these different variations of texture, which was really fun. Okay, question from the panel. Do people mix metals or tend to stick with one kind throughout? So that's a great question. So I think you can definitely absolutely mix metals. And so I would keep it to a certain number depending on the size of your room. So for example, for a bathroom, like if it's a powder bathroom, I might just do 2 metals. But if you have a full bathroom, sometimes you can go up to 3. And certainly for your larger room. So I would do 2 or 3, basically. I think those are the right numbers to land in, depending on your space. Yeah, you mix metals. That's great. Yeah. So yeah, I think that it really depends too what you're putting together. So you wouldn't want to put cool tones with warm tones. So there's definitely an art to it where you want to make sure, like if you are bringing in a silver tone, for example, that it's not a cool tone if you're going to pair it with gold or brass, for example. You want it to still have like a warm undertone. So that's something to consider. Are there any innovations that make cleaning easier other than the robot? There were, let me think. So there were definitely, like I saw really great solutions for ADUs, for example, or just smaller spaces where you can wash and dry your clothes in the same machine, which I don't think is necessarily new, but they were featuring that. So there's one machine that had the wash and dry in the same space, and then underneath there was an additional like drawer almost for washing a second load at the same time. So that made it really much more convenient and efficient. And I'm trying to think, one other thing was the dryers. So the clothes dryers, I believe they're ventless. I'm trying to think. It was just a different way. They're using heat pumps. That was a big thing. So many people were talking about heat pumps yesterday. And so this came out a couple years ago, so it's not new, but that was something as well in the cleaning space. I think just, like touch-free faucets, none of this stuff is necessarily new, but there's different ways to move around your kitchen, for example, to, make it work better for you. That's really all I remember that I saw yesterday. It was, again, I covered 3 different buildings. I don't know how many hours that I was there, but it's not normal to do that. Usually you have about 3 days. So I tried to pull in as much as I could, but I definitely missed things. These are great questions, though, you guys. Thank you. Do you have any other questions? It's really interesting how AI is being incorporated. I bet in 2025 it will be all over. What does that mean? Oh, you're welcome. You're so welcome. Yeah, so one thing, they showed us a chart of how quickly things migrated over to, I believe it was like 1 million users. So they had Meta, they had X, TikTok, what else? Just all the big new technologies or what have you, and how long it took to get to 100 million users. And it, like, literally AI, it's just going faster than anything else. So definitely expect to see more and more of it, like in a very short period of time. Like, companies are literally working on solutions right now to make it work better and to solve problems out there. So it is, everything is powered by AI. It's going to be huge very quickly. So you did not hear it here first, but I'm just, enhancing the message there. So that's it, I guess. I don't know. It's a whirlwind. I'm sure once I hop off of this, I will remember other things. But if you're ever looking to travel to Las Vegas from San Diego, it's $50 round trip. So you really can't beat that. I challenge you to find a cheaper flight. I don't think you can. Next time, definitely staying over though. So anyway, thank you for this live. Oh my gosh, you guys. Thank you for joining me. This is so fun, and I'm probably gonna go take care of my little man and have like a quiet, comfy, cozy night. But I don't know if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments after this. If you're watching this on replay, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Leanne. I'm an interior designer basically in San Diego, so you can look me up. We can work together locally, or if you are out of state, I also work with clients out of state, so we can talk a little bit more about that. Normally, I'm here every Thursday or Friday night doing a room layout for you. So if you would like to submit your own room, go ahead in the description and it'll give you all the details and steps in order to submit your room. It does not cost anything. I need a little legwork from you, nothing crazy. And you get a free layout for, an idea of where to put all your furniture, what sizing, and all of that. So bye, Tara. Thank you so much for coming. But yeah, so it's a great deal. You can't get a better deal than free. And we always have a good time here every week. So I appreciate you all for joining us. And as always, we'll see you next week.